circumstances, acquiring the facts is must before any ethical analysis or reflection on the matter when investigating the case. We want to know all the clear data as well as many facts are currently unclear but must be determined. In order to make an informed ethical decision, we must ask not only what do we know, but also how do we know.
The second step in making moral decision is determining the ethical issues. Moral issues should be expressed accurately in terms of competing interests. These competing interests practically create a moral dilemma to reflect the interests that are colliding in each moral dilemma. The problem must be stated in a X and Y format. For example, many ethical dilemmas, particularly near the end of a patient's life, can be presented in terms of patient autonomy versus the sanctity of life. Those concerned in an ethical issue may have diverse perspectives on it. Ethics is made up of a variety of moral beliefs and principles that vary from one civilization to the next, and even within a single society or group. When it comes to ethical concerns, several questions occur, such as when a choice must be taken, who has the authority to decide? What steps have been taken to resolve this problem thus far, and many more.
The third step in making moral decisions is identifying major principles and rules. In identifying major principles and rules, you need to be sure you have adequate information to support an intelligent choice. You can't make good decisions if you don't know the facts. To determine the facts, first, resolve what you know, then what you need to know. Be prepared to get additional information and to verify assumptions and other uncertain information. Once you begin to be more careful about the facts, we often find that there are different versions of them and disagreements about their meaning. In these situations, part of making sound decisions involves making good judgments as to who and what we believe. Here are some guidelines. First, consider the reliability and credibility of the people providing the facts. Next is, consider the basis of the supposed facts. If the person giving you the information says he or she personally heard or saw something, evaluate that person in terms of honesty, accuracy, and memory. Remember that assumptions, gossip, and hearsay are not the same as facts. Next is, you must consider all perspectives, but be careful to consider whether the source of the information has values different from yours or has a personal interest that could affect perception of the facts. Next, where
is compare the alternatives with the virtues or principles. At this point, the task is one of eliminating alternatives according to the moral principles or virtues that have a bearing on the case. In many instances, the case will be resolved at this point, since the principles will eliminate all alternatives except one. In fact, the purpose of this comparison is to see if a clear decision can be made without further deliberation. To do this involves satisfying all the relevant virtues and values.
In making moral decision is assessing the consequences. If the principle does not give a clear answer, you must analyze the implication of the remaining options. The goal here is to examine all of the available options and anticipate what the good and negative outcomes of each. Furthermore, one should attempt to evaluate how useful the positive outcomes are and how serious the negative consequences are, because some contributions will definitely be more significant than others. Before making a decision, it is critical to examine the potential negative implications of viable alternatives. The negative effects of any activity are as tangible as, if not more so, than the positive ones. Any unfavorable consequences of a decision that has been made and implemented will eventually become real difficulties. The consequences of the decisions, whether good or bad, usually outlast the decision-making process that produced them. The right decision for your life will not look the same as the right decision for my life. It is important to make the right decision in life because the consequences of choices are what drives your life in a certain direction. Remember that a consequence is something that happens as a result of an action. Every action has consequences. So, considering the potential consequences of an action is an important part of a wise decision making.
The seventh step of making moral decision is making your decision. What is deciding or decision making? What is the meaning of this? To decide, in general, is to make a final choice or judgment of something, such as problem, phenomenon, dilemmas, etc. Why is making moral decision important? To answer this, I will first identify what is making moral decision. Making moral decision is the ability to decide which is the right course of actions once we have spotted the ethical issue or issues. This is the ability to produce a reasonable and defensible answer to an ethical question, problem, and situation. Therefore, in this final step, which is to make your decision, is important because after a predetermined amount of time, which you define in step 1, the decision-making process, take an honest look back at your decision. Did you solve the problem? Did you answer the questions? Did you meet your goals? If so, take note of what worked for future references. If not, learn from your mistakes as you begin the decision-making process again and again until you find